Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say may be the turning point of your entire life. Right now, at this very moment, you are living a reality shaped by nothing more than your daily habits. Habits you repeat so often that you no longer notice them. But they are writing your future, whether you like it or not. And if you have ever asked yourself, why am I not where I want to be yet? The answer is simple. Your habits are designing a destiny beneath your awareness. If you want a different life, if you want success, fulfillment, confidence, and greatness, you don't need to change the world, you only need to change your daily habits. The most powerful truth I ever learned is this: we become what we think about. Think about that carefully. We become what we think about. Whatever your mind dwells upon, whatever you allow to dominate your thoughts, must eventually appear in your life, because your mind cannot distinguish between what is planted intentionally and what is planted by neglect. Everything begins as a thought. Your habits are simply the physical expression of the thoughts you allow to live inside your mind. Most people never realize this. They drift. They wake up each day and repeat yesterday's behavior, yesterday's worries, yesterday's limitations. They move through life like a ship without a captain, pulled by currents, controlled by weather, tossed by waves. And then they wonder why they feel lost. They wonder why their dreams fade. They wonder why they never seem to break through. But there is another type of person. The rare individual who decides that life will no longer be a matter of chance, but of choice. That from this moment forward, discipline, purpose, and intentional habits will create their future. The moment you make that decision, everything changes. Because you can predict your future by observing your habits today, and you can transform your future by transforming them. Success does not come suddenly or dramatically. It is earned quietly, consistently, patiently. It is built by small decisions that compound day after day, invisible to everyone, until they become undeniable. And the astonishing thing is this: the same daily habits that build extraordinary success are available to every single person listening to my voice. You do not need more talent. You do not need better luck. You do not need permission. You only need decisions repeated daily until they become habits. So listen closely. The habits I'm about to share have changed millions of lives. They have created leaders, thinkers, builders, inventors, and visionaries. And if you practice them, not occasionally, but daily, they will change your life forever. The first habit is simple. Begin every day with clarity. The moment you wake up, before touching your phone, before letting the world intrude, take control of your mind. Sit in silence for a few minutes. Breathe deeply and think about the person you intend to become. Write down your goals. Remind yourself of your mission. Because a person with a purpose will always outgrow a person drifting through routine. Most people wake up and immediately give their mind away to distraction, to urgency, to noise. But the mind that is not controlled will be controlled by others. The world is full of people who will tell you what to think, what to fear, what to believe. Begin your day by becoming the commander of your thoughts. The second habit: feed your mind with powerful ideas. You are the result of what you consume, not only physically, but mentally. If your mind is constantly fed negativity, triviality, gossip, distraction, and fear, your life will mirror those ingredients. But if you fill your mind with education, inspiration, wisdom, philosophy, and knowledge, you will rise above the average mind and the average life. One page of a great book can redirect a lifetime. One powerful idea can change your destiny forever. Read daily, even if only for 10 minutes. Because knowledge compounds just like money. Small investments made consistently become tremendous fortunes. The third habit is discipline. Discipline means doing what must be done whether you feel like it or not. Every great success story is a story of discipline. Every failure is a collapse of discipline. The difference between the person who achieves and the person who hopes is discipline. We must understand something remarkable. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. When you act against your own promises, when you break your own commitments, you weaken your confidence. You tell yourself you cannot trust yourself. But every time you follow through on your word, every time you act despite discomfort, you build a type of internal strength that no one can take from you. Discipline creates freedom. Without discipline, there is chaos. The fourth habit is gratitude. Gratitude is not merely saying thank you. Gratitude is recognizing the privilege of being alive. It is seeing the good that already exists, even when life is difficult. The human mind has a strange tendency to magnify problems and minimize blessings. But when you practice gratitude daily, Fear disappears, stress weakens, pessimism dissolves, and a remarkable thing happens. Your mind becomes a magnet for opportunity. You begin to attract solutions instead of problems, possibilities instead of limitations. It is impossible to be grateful and miserable at the same time. Gratitude is the foundation of mental strength. The fifth habit is reflection. Each evening, sit quietly for a few minutes and evaluate your day. Ask yourself, did I move closer to my goals or farther away? Did I act with discipline? Did I waste time? Did I learn something? Did I serve someone? Most people never examine their lives, and so their lives never change. But the person who reflects daily becomes unstoppable, because reflection turns experience into wisdom. And wisdom is the rarest currency in the world. The sixth habit is movement. The body and the mind are inseparable. When you strengthen the body, you strengthen the mind. Exercise daily, even if only for a short time. It is not about vanity, it is about energy, strength, confidence, and discipline. A weak body cannot house a strong mind. A tired body cannot generate powerful thinking. And every time you push yourself physically, you prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you believed. The seventh habit is courage. Fear is the great thief of dreams. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. But growth lives beyond discomfort. Opportunity lives beyond fear, and every time you choose courage over comfort, even in small decisions, you build a fearless life. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means acting despite fear. The habit of courage transforms ordinary people into extraordinary forces. The eighth habit is generosity. The world rewards those who give more than they take, not because of charity alone, but because contribution creates meaning. When you help others succeed, you rise with them. When you serve others, you discover purpose. And purpose is the fuel for greatness. The person who gives more than they receive will always eventually receive more than they gave. And now, the most important habit of all, consistency. Without consistency, nothing grows. Without consistency, talent is wasted. Without consistency, good intentions collapse. The difference between a dream and a reality is consistency. Anyone can be motivated for a moment. Anyone can be disciplined for a week, but only the rare individual who remains consistent, when they are tired, discouraged, uncertain, or unseen, reaches the heights of achievement. Your results are hidden in your daily routine. People often say success happens suddenly, but that is never true. Success becomes visible suddenly, but it is earned gradually. I want you to imagine two people standing side by side. One invests 1% improvement each day. Just 1%. The other does nothing. After 1 week, the difference is invisible. After a month, still small. But after a year, the difference is extraordinary. One is unrecognizable. The other remains the same, not because of luck, but because of habits. You do not need to change your entire life overnight. You only need to change your habits today. If you improve a little today, and you repeat that tomorrow, your transformation becomes inevitable. The only question that remains is this: will you decide? Will you take control of your mind? Will you guide your thoughts? Will you shape your life deliberately instead of accidentally? Because the truth is simple. Your future is already being formed. Right now, in this very moment, your habits are creating results that you will soon be forced to experience. And when that time arrives, you will either celebrate the choices you made or regret them. So ask yourself, what kind of life do you truly want? A life of uncertainty, drifting, and unfulfilled potential? Or a life of purpose, discipline, strength, and meaning? If you want the second, begin today, begin now. Begin with one habit. Because the moment you commit, truly commit, the universe responds. Doors open, opportunities appear. The impossible begins to bend. Greatness is not reserved for the lucky. It is reserved for the disciplined. It is reserved for the intentional. It is reserved for the person who chooses to act daily, without excuse, without delay. Change your habits, and you will change your life forever. Everything you dream of is waiting for you just beyond consistency. And once you begin, once you feel yourself growing stronger each day, once you taste the progress that only discipline delivers, you will never want to live the old way again. Let me tell you something extraordinary that most people never understand. Your life does not change when you learn something new. Your life changes when your behavior changes. Knowledge without application is wasted potential. You may read every book, listen to every lecture, collect inspirational quotes, repeat affirmations, but if your habits stay the same, your life will stay the same. Nothing changes until you change your daily actions. And the remarkable thing is that the smallest changes can create the greatest transformation. Consider a simple example, waking up just 1 hour earlier each day. 1 hour. Most people would say that won't change much, but an hour a day is 365 hours in a year. Over 9 full work weeks of time dedicated to building a stronger mind, a healthier body, a deeper purpose. That single decision separates the person who controls their future from the person controlled by it. Or take another example, reading 10 pages of a great book each day. 10 pages require only minutes. But in 1 year, that becomes 3,650 pages, more than 15 full-length books. 15 books about wealth, psychology, leadership, discipline, philosophy, and greatness. In 10 years, one person becomes a master of thought, the other remains unchanged. Which one do you believe will build a better life? This principle is powerful because it does not demand perfection. It demands consistency. You do not need giant steps. You need small steps repeated. Consistency turns ordinary actions into extraordinary achievements, and this is why habits matter more than intensity. The person who goes to the gym every day for 15 minutes will outperform the person who goes once a month for 3 hours, because repetition rewires the mind. Repetition creates identity. Repetition builds belief. And now we must address one more essential truth. Your environment shapes your habits. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you will complain. If you surround yourself with people who blame circumstances, you will blame circumstances. If you surround yourself with people without ambition, you will live without ambition. But if you surround yourself with people who think differently, who strive for more, who speak about ideas instead of others, who value learning, discipline, and integrity, your life will rise to match theirs. You cannot fly with eagles if you walk with pigeons. Be selective with whom you allow into your mind. Protect your environment, protect your time, protect your energy, because every person in your life is either pushing you forward or holding you back. And one of the most powerful habits you can develop is distance. Distance from anything that weakens your mind, your spirit, or your self-respect. And speaking of self-respect, the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. The words you speak to yourself create the boundaries of your life. Your inner voice is either a mentor or a murderer. Every time you say, "I can't," you shrink. Every time you say, "I'm not enough," you reinforce limitation. But every time you say, "I will," "I can," and "I must," you redefine what is possible. If you want a great life, speak greatness into your mind. Think thoughts that empower rather than thoughts that weaken. Because the great secret is this: you are not controlled by your past. You are not defined by mistakes, failures, or circumstances. You are defined only by the decisions you make now, by the actions you take today, and by the habits you choose to build. The past is gone, and the future has not yet arrived. The only thing you control is this moment, this day. If you master the day, you master your life. So ask yourself right now, what are the habits you must remove, and what are the habits you must build? What must you stop doing to become the person you were meant to be? What must you begin doing immediately? Because every habit has a price. The price of discipline is measured in temporary effort. The price of regret is measured in lifelong pain. One day you will look back at your life and realize that every result, good or bad, came from habits repeated. And you will either say, "I'm grateful I changed when I did," or you will whisper, "If only I had started sooner." Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes. Habit stays. Habit is permanent. Habit does not rely on inspiration. Habit relies on decision. And once a habit is built, you no longer negotiate with yourself. You no longer ask whether you feel like it. The action becomes automatic. And that is where transformation occurs. There is a moment in every life when a person realizes that greatness is not an accident. Success is not mysterious. Happiness is not luck. Achievement is not magic. They are simply the natural outcome of disciplined, consistent habits practiced daily with intention. And here is the most exciting truth of all. You already have everything you need. You do not need more time. You must use the time you already have. You do not need more strength. You must discipline the strength within you. You do not need more opportunities. You must prepare yourself to recognize them. Your life can change more in 6 months of disciplined habits than in 6 years of wishing. Everything begins now. Everything begins today. The clock has already started and the future is already forming. And there will come a day, soon, when the world will look at you differently. Not because you announced your intentions, but because your results became undeniable. The people around you will call it luck. They will call it talent. They will say you changed suddenly. But you will know the truth. You will know that it was built from silent mornings, quiet discipline, invisible effort, and the courageous choice to live intentionally.